My name is Bob Dufour. I'm Vice President of Whistler Blackcomb for operations. I had the pleasure of being in Whistler since 1972, and today we've got members of the Lil'wat Aboriginal group, and we wanted to bring some of their elders to say a few stories and get them up the gondola, the peak to peak, and go across, have a little lunch. And we're just trying to encourage to have more and more of them become familiar with what we do, and then we in turn become familiar with what they do. And it was a very, very interesting experience. I had a chance to listen to a few of the elders tell us some history about the region here, of where their great-great-grandparents, their ancestors, and it was very, very interesting. So hopefully this becomes a regular tradition. We're going to try to do more and more to work with our partners at Whistler Blackcomb. We're talking going back 45 years, so I know a lot of the Burke, Williams, and John, and I know John passed away last year, but Lloyd. So I'm very familiar. We used to have a get together every year at the rodeo grounds for a barbecue every March after the season.
Well, let's head on up the mountain.
All right. I'm glad you found us.
Carmen put it on there, and it just fit her flow.
I know I wasn't
Thank you.
up and about yesterday. Hi.
Hi again.
That'd be great. Hey, Mark, come up. There we go. Mark's gonna pop in this one with you guys. Go ahead, Buck, and film if you want. Excellent. All right, everybody.
Is that it?
You want to
Four?
go with the next four?
Really?
Very good.
Yeah, right here, we'll take a lap. Right, that's right.
You're too much of a mountain biker.
Keep that blanket on you.
One short little story to tell you before we get to the other side. It's a story told by Morgan Wells, and it's to do with the people here traveling to the town of New Westminster. So before the story begins, after the arrival of the Europeans, but before the coming of the railway, and there's people like to go on traveling trips, and they'd bring the whole family, and they would walk from here, maybe walk through part of the territory, coming up Fitzsimmons Creek. And we go through Fitzsimmons Creek to go to the Cheakamus Lake. And at Cheakamus Lake there's a natural pass. And in that pass, many families would be traveling, or many groups in one family. In this particular story, there was a grandmother with her granddaughter, and they were traveling a little bit behind of the group, and they were getting left behind. So the granddaughter was getting bored, so the grandmother looked around for things to amuse her, and on her walking up the trail there, she found a little stone embedded with these yellow stones that were. So the grandmother put it in like a little piece of brush, and so the granddaughter held it like a little doll. And they were getting closer to the divide, and the trail was getting steeper and steeper. And the grandmother told the granddaughter, "We should leave your toy here by the big tree, and we'll pick it up on the way back." So they left the stone by the big tree, and they continued over to the divide, and they walked down into the Pit River and onto the Pit Lake and into New Westminster. On the way back, they had already passed the big tree, and the grandmother began to tell the father of the child about the stone with the yellow stones. And immediately they recognized it as a piece of gold, and the men retreated back to the divide, but they couldn't find the stone. And so that's the end of the story. I'd like to read you a specific story about this part of the territory, and this story was first told by Chief James Stager around the year of 1900.
My Ukumich name I got when I was 17 years old. When my foster dad passed away, it was brought to me, and what I believe is Nushuyush. I don't know what it means. I tried to ask the person who gave it to me. My English name is Donna Joseph. I come from Mount Currie until I moved away for life's reasons. But I'm back. I'm glad to be invited today to this Elders too. One story I remember was when I was I was little yet, before like 3 or 4 even. I remember living by the railroad tracks. My dad worked with the railroad, and I remember staying there. But like I said, I was a little girl, but I still remember being there and the smell of the train and the noise, but we were way out there in the boonies by the train tracks in the smallest of cabins. I've moved home in '89 with my children. I got to marry the boy next door. We have 6 children and 9 grandchildren, and we're happy to be invited to these outings. Thank you.
Thank you. And cut.
Okay, good enough?
I'd like to tell you an educational story about our elders going to upgrading back in 1971. And part of the education was to recreation. So they came down to Whistler Village at the gondola. That's where the bunny hill used to be. So there they are skiing away. So they go up the hill a little bit, go a little bit higher and a little bit higher. So the one fellow, first time on skis, he went up, put his skis on, no one showed him how to snowplow or anything, but he went down, and as he was getting down towards the cafeteria, the big windows like these, but except they're one solid pane, and the patrons there in the restaurant could see the fellow coming down the hill. Oh, man, he's coming down pretty fast. So, they're having hot chocolate and drinking coffee. You could look up again, there he was coming down still coming down. He's not stopping. And so he started moving back away from the window. He kept on coming. He went right up. The skis went straight up like that. He went right back down. That's part of our education of our elders. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome day.
There we go. Oh, some sun.
Well, how about the glacier?
Yeah. This is neat.
Should have asked Lexi, what do they call the mountain in our language?
Yeah.
And what's
I
the?
can-
Is there a story you can tell about the Thunderbird? Is there a story about the Thunderbird?
That's the black tusk,
Yes.
where the eagle sits, or the thunderbird sits.
Okay. Amazing.
This one is where when the eagle and the condor meet.
Okay.
The run. Like the run starts May 1st,
Okay.
Chickalin, Alaska. It goes through here. Every time it's going to go through here. Every time that run's going to happen, it's going to go through Lil'wat. It goes right down to Panama. From Chile to Panama. Starts May 1st, ends October 12th, supposedly.
Wow.
But it's 2 weeks late last time.
So you'll see that when we go down over, I think. You'll be able to see something. We couldn't see anything on the way up, but this is lovely. It's a little, you can kind of see the village and see Green Lake.
Village.
Oh.
Yeah.
See?
Can you see? Yeah.